Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and etc. I guess lizards and that. Welcome to OWP. Welcome to our wrestling perspective. If you like what you see, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you don't like what you see, give it a thumbs down. But don't give it a thumbs down. And in the famous words of Coke, usually I get Les to say this, but sub it, cousin. This video is none other than WWE presents Money in the Bank 2019. It's finally here, the Gesheesh in the bank. That's right, the whole build-up. Is there going to be a big payoff? Is there a turn to all different storylines for the future? Let's pay attention. Of course I was wrong. Let's see what WWE actually booked. We're going to start off with WWE Presents Money in the Bank 2019 pre-show. Let's kick that off with none other than the surprise match added together by itself. It was the Planet Tag Team Champions and the Smackdown Live WWE Tag Team Champions Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan in a non-title match going up against Jimmy and Jay, the Usos. This match was fantastic, and I didn't click on. I thought it was for the belts because I quickly went to go make coffees, and then I came back and I saw them just brutalizing each other. Well, it was just a start. Luckily, I didn't miss too much. It was a great match. I thought the Usos, when they won the belt, realized it was a non-title match, but the match was fantastic. But it gets me worried. They're part of Raw and Smackdown. I don't want them to merge the belts thing. Also, another thing I got to point out with the Money in the Bank pre-show was none other than Sonya Deville and Zelina Vega. They will just at each other. If you haven't watched it, just watch the pre-show with them arguing. I reckon it was It was just immaculate. They were both just yelling at each other to the point where they had to cut away, and Jonathan Coachman called Corey Graves Renee young. Now we're heading straight over to WWE Money in the Bank main card, yes, and the first match was none other than the WWE Women's Money in the Bank match. That's right, we had a bit of a change to this Money in the Bank because it's never a good Money in the Bank unless one person gets changed or they try to shake it up. Anyway, by this case, I'm talking about Alexa Bliss getting taken over, her place getting taken over by none other than Nikki Cross. I was kind of looking up to her like an idol. It's kind of like a... what's the Mickey James and Trish Stratus feud, but just a less down version of the lesbian and more like the PG. Anyway, moving on, you had Nikki Cross, Naomi, Natalia, then you had Ember Moon, none other than Carmella, Mandy Rose. I keep saying Rose for some reason, but anyway, did you see that spot where Mandy Rose kicked Carmella in the knee, forcing Carmella to get a bit of a get away from me? It was a bit of an awkward scene to watch. But moving on from that, we saw the winner in the Hugger herself, which Dana Brooke was close, by the way. She was also in the match. The Hugger herself, Bayley, like what I predicted. See, Les isn't here to judge me. I said it was going to happen, and it happened. Then we're moving on to the second match that lasted as long as my phone call with any work-related thing. It was Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. And what happened in this match? It was pure sharp. Samoa Joe had his shoulder up. It ended too early. The symbolism is just too crazy because Rey Mysterio apparently suffered a separated shoulder within the match. But see, Samoa Joe's shoulder was up. So, what? And if that wasn't as entertaining as it was, we head over straight to the steel cage match between none other than former two best friends. The best tag team in the world has split up and they're mortal enemies. I'm saying it's a steel cage match between Shane McMahon and Mike Mizanin, The Miz. And legit, Shane, of course he wins again. And by a t-shirt spot this time. Just, I'm happy that it's over, but Miz should have got the win. That's my bad, I didn't predict that right, but wow. Just when we thought we were heading up to the road to Prestige, we finally, absolutely, I thought my mum was twisting for this quick second because there was no belief that I was seeing something so crazy happen. A Cruiserweight title match on the main card of a pay-per-view. What? But anyway, it was none other than Tony Nese, the premier athlete, defending his purple and silver up against the most slimiest heel 205 Live has seen yet. The sneaky coming out of Mercedes, Benz, all top cars, whatever it may be, in Aria Davari. This match was good. It actually showed off 205 Live. Not the best matches 205 Live has had for the championships, but it's getting Tony Nese to where he needs to be, and I'm just happy to see the Cruiserweight Championship treated like a real championship and actually put on the main card. For this match, we head straight over to the man defending one of her two belts, defending one of her belts, the Raw Women's Championship. That's right, Becky Lynch was defending it up against the sassy Southern Belle. Dun, 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 dun. Lacey Evans. What happened? Lacey got hit. The lady got a black eye, whatever the whole symbolism was within the whole backstage promos. Becky just destroyed. And just when we thought that was it, Lacey had to join into the next match. Not physically be a part of it, but you'll see what I mean. So after Becky retains the Raw Women's Championship, we see a bit of a sticky situation. Becky thinking she has more time before she actually goes and faces the second in nature Charlotte Flair. But Charlotte Flair strutting straight up to Becky Lynch and saying, nah, we're going to have our SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Wow, it's just too much. Anyway, leading on, it was a SmackDown Live Women's Championship on the line. Becky has to defend her second belt. Let's see if she can hold it. Let's see if the man can get it done. Even though she's a bit tuckered out from dun, 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 dun. This all leads to craziness as Charlotte Flair picks up the win on Becky Lynch, making Becky only one belt. Becky, one belt, is just there, and we see a 9-time women's champion in Charlotte Flair. See, I tried to make that rhyme, but it didn't work. But anyway, we got saved by none other than the hugger herself, the person that got as much mentioned as Sasha on that pay-per-view, even though Sasha wasn't on the pay-per-view. But anyway, moving on. Bayley cashes in on Charlotte Flair after she fought off Lacey Evans and that, because Lacey Evans is the actual reason why Becky Lynch lost the second belt. But anyway, Hugger gets the belt, brings the belt back to SmackDown Live. Finally, we got the belt off of Flair, and it's good to see Bayley with a championship again. Truthfully. I'm not even being sarcastic. So this match, I made noodles. Now moving on to a match that I actually wanted to watch, where you see Seth Rollins defend his Universal Championship, because it's Monday Night Rollins, up against the house that AJ Styles built. Whether that's SmackDown or Raw, wherever he wants to build it now. Probably he'll build it in NXT, but he didn't want to go there in the first place. Anyway, moving on. It was AJ Styles, Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. And yes, back to the match. It was fantastic. Hopefully this isn't the last time that they meet, but whoo, the inverse of the suplex on the top of the corners, and then you thought it was an introverted Falcon Arrow, but wait, I just want to see more of it. Great match. Seth picking up the win adds that prestige to the Universal title reign that he already has, and he's truly burning it down. Then in the semi-main event for the evening, that's right, we're finally on to the second last match of WWE Presents Money in the Bank 2019, and that was none other than Kofi Kingston himself. The WrestleMania dream has come true. The 11 years he's worked so hard for. Anyway, moving on, it was Kofi Kingston, your WWE World Heavyweight Champion, up against the prize fighter, fight anyone. Why did that hip thrust hurt me more than anything? But anyway, Kevin Owens. The match had a lot of story built to it, so you were invested as it was. It was a half decent match. It gets Kofi to the prestige that he needs to be, defending that championship up against the former Universal Champion. So it's always good to see former two champions going at it. And Kofi Kingston has a mad reputation as it is. Seeing Xavier Woods not being a part of the match kind of was a bummer, but wasn't a bummer at the same situation, because I really hope that even though it's Kofi Kingston's reign, the New Day would be used more within it. I know we have to build Kofi, but the New Day was just an instrumental part of getting him there. But anyway, match. Only I just received a text message during that match. It was a weird text message. Apparently I missed out on one of the segments saying they're going to introduce a new belt on the next night. I just don't understand WWE's personality. But moving on from that situation, we head to the WWE Money in the Bank main event, and that was for the WWE Males Money in the Bank briefcase. We saw 7 people because Sami Zayn got injured earlier on the night. Everyone thought it was Braun. So when a banned Braun Strowman came back to the arena, Triple H is like, go. And he was like, it wasn't me. Anyway, so that's an updated situation. Only 7 men. Ali, Ricochet, Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Randy Orton. And the last person in that match was none other than Andrade Cien Almas El Higolo. I thought he should have won it. I predicted that he was going to win it. But none other, we saw a surprise 8th entrant. He didn't want to come earlier because he does whatever he wants, because he's the beast incarnate. Brock Lesnar. That's right, we have a beast in the bank now. First time I've ever seen him climb a ladder, and I was actually scared. But why didn't Ali just grab the case while he was running up? Anyway, Brock Lesnar grabs the case down after a freaking fantastic it was just I keep hitting my head. It was a fantastic Money in the Bank match from the men, and it was even more of a shocker. Apparently they didn't know any of the situation that was going to happen. So with that being said, well done WWE. Now let's do an overall for WWE Money in the Bank 2019. It was very good. Like, the women's part of it was very entertaining. That was solid booking on that side. Even though it was kind of sad we didn't actually see a proper tag team title defense, we actually saw a great match in the Usos, and they always produce a great tag team match, and in this case they're up against the Planet Tag Team Champions. Why haven't they got the tag belts in hemp yet? Anyway, moving on, the Kofi Dream lives on. See how that rhymed? But now moving on, Seth Rollins keeps going with Monday Night Rollins because he's defending the Universal Championship like a king, like a wonder. If I had to rate this Money in the Bank pay-per-view of is it better than the other Money in the Banks, it's a meh, honestly. Yeah,